it gets up to that 2,500 mark. This girl yells out at a charity auction, by the way, "That's too expensive. That's too expensive. Don't pay it. That's too expensive."
Oh,
screaming it.
fuck. I know. I could just hear crickets. Everyone's necks have snapped.
Mate, I've got a story for you.
I'm scared. You're very keen.
I've
Got the giggles already.
The minute it happened last night, I messaged 4 people about the situation, except you, because I wanted to tell you face to face.
Okay. All right. I'm all ears. I'm all ears.
Strap in, because this will lead into a question I've got for you as well. So, last night I went to an event, all right? It was a fancy event. It was in the city. It was in Crown Casino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So how to dress did you dress the part?
Yeah, I did. I dressed in a nice black shirt. I did have ripped jeans, but I just wanted to be a bit outside the norm.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, just out of curiosity as well, was this a photo that was posted to your Facebook that I had just seen as I was coming? Okay, beautiful. Because you were looking very nice, I must admit,
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
And what happened was, I went to Crown, and there was a lot of tables. So I'm going to try to set the scene because this is very important. Okay. So it was an awards night. There was about maybe 15 tables. Each table had about 10 people on it each.
Jeez, okay? Right. So 15 times 10 people.
Good math. Yeah.
Beautiful.
192.
I didn't want to say the answer because I'm scared.
So it was one of those events. I was hoping the last event, it was just an open bar. You had fun. There was no food. There was just no food. What is it called when they bring around food? Like entree. I don't know if like finger food. Finger food, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, they brought out a heap of finger food, and you would just drink and eat, but no main meal or anything. I love that because I kept going and getting vodka raspberries, vodka lemonade,
mate. On the house as well.
On the house.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So as I was there, I see that they now have finger food, but they also have people holding drinks, and there's no open bar, and I'm like, oh, because at these places they serve wine mainly and champagne, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, you're not massive into that. No. You wake up the next day with a bad headache. Yeah, you feel average.
I know people who say they love wine after a while, and somehow the more you drink, the more you get used to wine, and it tastes better.
I think that's the same as beer though, because I must admit, like, who likes beer straight away?
That's so true.
It's taken me a long time to now like beer. But anyways, back to the Crown Casino. So I'm keen for this.
So I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to get really drunk tonight. And
play it safe.
Yeah, I'm going to play it safe. It's just one of those, because you can tell when you go out on a night out, you can tell if you're going to have a massive one or it's just going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Because at our age, you start thinking about now how am I going to get home, how much money am I going to spend.
Oh, mate. Yeah, if I shout one person, if they shout me drink, I'm pretty much inclined. Definitely. Otherwise, it's like, oh, you never buy around. You always bounce. And it's like, I don't want to be labelled as that guy.
Yeah, and it was also one of those scenarios where I organised the lift for afterwards. I had everything set up, and I'm just going, you know what? It's just going to be a mellow night for tonight. Anyway, sit down at the table. A couple of people I know, a couple of people that, I know quite well. So it was a good vibe. There was a few people I don't see that much, but I really get along with.
Yeah, so perfect.
At my table, it was a good table.
Awesome. That is probably just... Very quickly, by the way, when you're at an event, I've got the same for my work.
Yep.
Mate, if you have a shit table...
don't even get me started.
The mood straight away, you're just like, your night, you may have... Again, I know that you said you had a plan lift home, but your quiet night all of a sudden comes, pick me up at 3.
Yep.
I'm having a big one. Like it can change like that.
It really can.
Like that.
You're spot on. And I've had a situation before. It was a few months ago when we had another kind of... just a dinner, and I was with my original, group of friends, and we were walking to the table, and as we were sitting down, I was the last one to sit down, and there was no seat at the end. Oh. So I had to go straight back about 20 people to the other side, and that side of the table
all your mates
sucked.
like looking at you and you're just like...
Mate, I'm watching from the end, and I'm seeing everyone laughing, having a good time, and then Jono over to the right of me, speaking about the stock market and things like that. I'm like,
oh that is the worst.
That is. So
anyway, wish that on anyone, by the way.
Yeah, and I had a really good table where I was at. So to the left of me, this table was fucked up, and
just plain and simple,
it doesn't take a genius to realise that half an hour into the event, it wasn't the beers and the wines that were getting them fucked up.
Oh, boy. They bring out some sugar.
And this is a very...
And the little fairy bread in the little baggies.
And, mate, this was a very formal event where I can see that happening, but not until maybe midnight when the event's over. You're doing
towards
kick-ons.
The end, yeah.
You're actually going into Crown Casino to gamble. That's when I can see it happening. Way too early.
What time would you... Roughly?
8:30.
Dude, that's keen. That's very keen.
Mate, it was around then. And there was one woman there who was just ridiculous. Like, acting so out of pocket and not even in a good way of like, oh, this is funny. It was more like, you're an embarrassment. You know what? You know how you have one of them sometimes?
Very cringeworthy sort of
Yep.
Yeah, that's the worst.
This is where I get into it. Very clear that other people on the table were also, and I'm going to be clear, it was drugs, but I don't think it was your original drugs that make you all happy and hyper and whatever. This was, you're acting ridiculous. Something else was going on.
This was meth, ladies and gentlemen. Crystal fucking meth. Out of curiosity as well, age-wise, like our age, like a bit older, young?
I would say 35 to 45, in that range.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So they were having fun.
Good on them.
But they were having the type of fun that
leads to trouble, more or less?
Definitely, but also, you know how I said there was 15 tables before?
Yes.
The other 14 tables, not one of them would have even been close to drunk. Do you know what I mean?
So they stuck out real bad.
So
like
bad.
So loud.
Like
and everyone's just like,
thumb.
what is going on over there?
And yeah, so this is where it gets interesting.
That is incredibly bad.
So bad. Because usually... we've had it before. We've had it ourselves where we've gotten a bit too maybe tipsy, drunk, whatever, a bit too early to everyone else. But it's not too crazy, and people eventually catch up. Or there's a few people that are close to you, maybe in beer pong. You could be a bit ahead of the game there if you suck. Yeah. But this was just a whole nother level. So we're sitting down. We have someone come up to the stage. And we're doing a new sponsorship for a charity. And this charity is all about kids with cancer. I think one of the things we were doing was building them a basketball court on this new place. Basically, taking them away from the horror and what they're going through.
Yeah, most definitely.
To distract them just for a week, a day, whatever it'd be, and make events for them.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
And there was this little retreat. So on this retreat, building a basketball court, going along there and just trying to take their mind off it for a day, however long it be.
Put their mind off it, yeah.
Really good cause, right? So someone was doing a speech about that. They were still being a bit, not too much, but a bit ridiculous. Like everyone's listening, they were a little bit rude, but not too bad. But enough where you go, oh, you're annoying. Yeah.
Was it sort of like to the point, just to real quick, and I'll try to stop interrupting. Obviously, you got a story to tell. But is it like the comedian in the sense of they're up there giving a speech and they're starting to like heckle a bit?
Oh, get ready.
Oh, no. By the way, remember as well, this charity's for like children with cancer. So like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's genuinely like, listen the fuck up. Don't be fuckwits.
Dead set.
I'm going to be honest, and this is going to look really bad because you're going to go back through the footage and you're going to look on my camera, and as soon as you said the charity's for kids with cancer, my face, you can tell that
I saw it.
Yeah, and I was like, I know my face shouldn't be like this, but I just feel I know where this is going. So take the reins again, please.
So, mate, I love this cause, and the guy who was up there was talking about how with a lot of charities, and this is so true, when you donate money, you have no idea where it goes. And a lot of the time you find out that, let's say you donated something like $10, maybe $2 of it went to the actual charity itself. This one, he was talking about how all the proceeds just go straight to these kids. It's non-for-profit. And I loved it. And what, we were trying to achieve with them was really, really nice. Then this woman comes up who had cancer. She had cancer for 8 years.
Oh, no. I'm just...
8 years, right? She starts talking about her story. She starts talking about what she went through, and that this charity did do what it intended to do. It took her away and distracted her for a day, took her to a concert, took her to this retreat, and just to spend time away from thinking about the absolute, like I couldn't even imagine how bad that must be. So she starts crying. She had a good speech. There's still a little, it's very clear they're not really paying too much attention, but they're not doing anything out of pocket yet. So we go on and we have this charity auction, and it was 2 tickets to a night in the city. So I had some other things there, like a really expensive bottle of champagne, a couple of events in the city, but it was a big night out.
Yeah.
And the whole point of that was
to raise funds for the charity.
Exactly.
So it's going to a good cause. So,
and one of my good friends was actually doing the auction. So he was calling it, right? So he gets up there and starts calling it. And, of course, the bids start coming through, and it's like 500, 750. And he couldn't hear too well what everyone was saying, which is a good thing in hindsight now. Goes up to 1,000. A couple of people like, oh, do you come with it? Like a couple of funny comments, like with a nice twist on
nice
it.
Little gesture, like
but as they
tongue in cheek.
Yeah, but as they said that, they're saying 2,500 when he says, yeah, sure, like as a joke. Really nice. It gets up to that 2,500 mark. This girl yells out at a charity auction, by the way, that's too expensive. That's too expensive. Don't pay it. That's too expensive.
Oh,
screaming it.
Fuck. I know. I can just hear crickets. Everyone's necks have snapped.
No, mate. So, because other people were trying to bid, that kind of overshadowed it for the other side of the room. But some tables around heard, and my table was right next to it. All of our tables, our necks snapped. And I looked at, when you're this close to telling someone to shut the fuck up?
Yep.
And obviously you can't tell, I couldn't tell the girl, but I looked straight at the boyfriend and I was so close. I wanted to say it so badly. He is trying to cover her mouth with both of his hands.
Oh, wow.
So he's trying to cover her mouth and she's like pulling away and then yelling out again.
Oh, you're kidding.
Disgusting.
Trying to cause a scene.
Yeah. And then as the bid go up, she says some other things, but they're not as bad as... Okay. This is too expensive. It's not worth it. At a charity auction again, by the way. Anyway, it goes for something like, it would have been like $5,000, $7,000 or $10,000. It ends. The security come up to her, like the people at the event, and they're like, you need water, you need to calm down. Mate, she was, I can happily say, disgusting. And I think if I had a partner, a friend like that, they would have been cut out that night.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Gets worse.
Already sounds pretty bad.
So after that, I'm sitting with one of my mates at the table. The night goes on. This guy comes up, and I'm on my phone. I'm messaging one of my friends who's going to pick me up. She had to pick me up earlier because the event she was at got cancelled.
Oh, okay, right. Yep.
So my plans didn't change. So I'm messaging her. This guy comes up to me and just grabs me on the shoulder, kind of aggressively.
Oh, no.
Like,
you don't like being touched, by the way.
And he put his hand on my shoulder and like kind of rubbed hard. And he's like, mate, get off your phone. Get off your phone. I'm like, sorry? And he's like, I know you, but you don't know me. And he's staring at me and I'm
scared, mate.
And then it hit me. Oh, you're off that table to our left. So he's off that table where whatever bag they're sniffing out of, keep in mind, they got caught. Well, people heard them doing the bags in the bathroom at a very formal event where no one's even drunk yet. So it's very clear hearing it. And I'm, oh my God. And he's going on about how long he's worked here and done this and all these big things. And then he would like death stare me. And it was the weirdest interaction. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I had no idea if he wanted to fight or if or what. And he goes on next and goes, no, you're a good guy. You're a good. Do you want to go into the bathroom and do a line with me? And I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm all good, mate.
Probably not.
And I was being real nice about it too because, again, formal event. So I'm very confused what's going on. Then he goes to my mate and he does the exact same scenario, like a hard handshake, a bit of a death stare. But then it was very clear he was just so fucked up on whatever he was on that it looked ridiculous. And he asked him to go in to do a line as well. Went to another person on our table and it was just awkward. Then he went off and you could tell he was going to do a line. And I think we've both had this because when we went clubbing, we've got those people who want to be aggressive, want to start fights, or they're just embarrassing. I would love to get your thoughts. If you had a friend who did something like she did, or you had a friend who did something like he did, who are just ridiculous and just kind of gross, what would you do in that scenario if you're on a night out? Because me personally, I'd have to tell them to pull their fucking head in, especially the woman at the charity auction.
Oh, no, 100%.
That's actually disgusting.
No, yeah, 110%. I would like to think I would do the same thing with the female because it's just not. It's a formal event and for charity. Like you just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like it's going to a good cause. You've legit heard the speech as well. Like you've been told what it's going to and why it's happening.
It wouldn't matter if what they're bidding for was a cashew nut.
Yeah, so like it's going to help children. Like, you clearly like
it could be a stick they found outside. It wouldn't matter.
And then as for the guy, I don't know. I feel like I've had like mates in the large group who are a bit like that, and it's just like shake. It's just the shake of like your head of disappointment. You're like, oh, mate, like clearly they're not fucking interested. Like leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah.
To the point where like sometimes like you need to almost just walk away. And it's like, you know what, whatever happens to them, like I'm sorry, like it's shit. And I would say you should never leave a mate. But like, when's enough enough? Like really?
Because there's different scenarios I've seen. I've had the scenario where I've been at a club and I've seen a guy get hit and I just stood there kind of like, oh, do you get involved or don't you get involved? Because that's hard.
Oh, most definitely.
I remember seeing it and I'm like, it's 3v1. I have no idea who this guy is, but also I watched him for like a couple minutes. This solo guy was really pissing off these three other guys, like really getting in their face.
Yeah, okay.
And we're seeing it now. So many people are bringing out weapons to clubs and things like that. And there's a whole heap of gang mentality where no one can fight alone anymore. And a good saying was, I saw it on a video the other day. It's like, would you rather be laughed at by 10 men or be carried by 6? And they're basically saying, would you rather go out, walk past like fucking a group of guys who are giving you a hassle and ignore everything they're saying, no matter what it is, and get on with your night? Or would you rather try to be a tough guy or just stand up to them, and the next thing you know, 6 of your mates are carrying you at your funeral? Which is true.
Yeah, not a bad saying. Not a bad saying.
And I don't know. I don't know what it is about gang mentality lately. It just
seems to be everywhere at the moment.
It does. But and yeah, what you were saying before, would you, if you saw your mate doing that, would you pull him aside and just say, mate, that's
I would like, most definitely. Yeah, it just needs to be said.
Not enough friends do it.
Unfortunately, not until it's too late. Yeah, and then like, I should have bloody. And it's like, and I've been guilty of that. I've definitely been guilty of that. But I think now being a bit more mature, it's sort of like, it's probably not appropriate. Like,
yeah, and I've always thought it as well. Anytime I see a fight going on, or if someone started something, and there's a guy who's just being pretty much a dickhead, if he's with friends, I always blame the friends as well. Like that's your mate.
Yeah, no.
Out of anyone that could stop this situation, it's you.
Yep.
He's 100%. Not going to listen to anyone else. He's not going to listen to a stranger. He's going to listen to you. So pull his head in. And yeah, that's I just want to tell you that story because I thought that I couldn't care less if she was yelling out at people getting awards and like being embarrassing. Like that's pretty
standard.
Charity auction is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
Oh, did it? Yeah, just a bit of respect.
That's it, mate. Just a bit of respect. Just hold you. If there's anything I can say in the last as we go, just if you got friends and they're acting ridiculous, just hold them accountable.
Most definitely. No, spot on. Let them know. Say, mate, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like simply like that.
Give me the bag.
Yeah. Mate, what are you? Not here.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
Yeah.
Save for later.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, fucking hell. That is faked.
He's fucked. Anyway, mate. On to the next.
On to the
Bigger
next.
and brighter things.
Love to see it.
Boom.
Boom.